Yeah, so yesterday we announced that the new URSA Mini 4.6K camera is now shipping. We've been holding off the shipment of that camera for a little while. I'm sure many of our customers have realised that and anticipated the shipment of the camera. They've got back orders and they're waiting for their cameras to ship. And we had to strategically delay the shipment of the camera because we weren't happy with one of the functions, and that was the global shutter. When we launched the camera at NAB, we were hoping to have global shutter on the camera. But over the course of time, we couldn't get it working to a level and a standard that we were really happy with as a manufacturer. I think a lot of customers recognise that our cameras are designed around making filmic, cinematic-looking images, and we weren't happy that the global shutter feature was really delivering what our expectations were as a manufacturer. So we decided to give it as much time as we could do to get that engineering work done, push that technology as far as it could go, and then decide whether or not we felt it was a feature that represented what our cameras are capable of doing. Yesterday, we made the decision to announce shipment of the camera, but without that global shutter feature, because we don't think at this moment in time it's really what Blackmagic cameras represented.
And obviously that was quite a key feature that was promoted as part of the launch at NAB just last year, and then we're now sort of almost 12 months, and I think the promise was within a couple of months after NAB it was going to be shipping. So I guess it worked with the prototype, but what happened, what changed, and why did it not end up being a deliverable feature?
Well, when we announced the camera at NAB, we looked at what that technology was capable of delivering. And so the specification of the camera at NAB was based around what we felt we could deliver within the standards and the expectations of what we feel is a cinematic looking image. And that's all that criteria about maintaining a decent frame rate, that's about the high dynamic range, that's about being able to record a raw file that allowed then our customers to go away and take it into a post-production environment and really extract the full capability and detail within the picture. Now, as we started to develop that global shutter feature, we realised that specifically when using global shutter, the compromises that are made with global shutter were not acceptable. They were not up to the standard that we felt really we wanted to deliver within a cinematic and digital film camera. So, we pushed the boundaries as far as we could go, and I think we just hit the limits of technology. In theory, the technology was capable of doing it. In practice, actually, it didn't perform at the way we wanted it to. So that was why we had to delay it. We've spent a lot of time, a lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of tears have been invested in trying to get it to a point we felt achieved our expectations. And with all of our cameras, we're camera users too, we're camera customers too, and the reason that we do what we do at Blackmagic is because we're making cameras that we would want to buy. So, we were very disappointed ourselves as a manufacturer, and also very sorry and apologetic to our customers that particularly needed that feature. But we didn't want to launch it with something that we felt wasn't really up to the standards that we would expect to see of that kind of product. That would be wrong. So we felt the best thing to do was to push the boundaries as far as we could, give it as much time as we could to try and get it to that point, and if not, let all of our customers know before we start shipping the camera. So then if the global shutter feature really is a make or break deal, then look at one of the alternatives. One of those alternatives from us is the 4K, which does offer global shutter, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get it to work on that 4.6K sensor.
But I think for most people, it's having a switchable global shutter, rolling shutter would have been a nice feature, but the trade-off, there was always going to be a trade-off with the global shutter. A big thing about the URSA Mini with the 4.6 is achieving that 15 stops dynamic range. That really pushes that camera up there alongside the other manufacturers, the kind of big existing players that are out there. And switching to that global shutter mode, you were already going to be losing some of the dynamic range anyway. So it just feels that for most people, perhaps it's not it wouldn't really have been that big a deal, and I guess it would have been nice to have scrapped that a while ago if it wasn't working, and just let's get the camera out and get it out into the wild, because some of the test footage that's been coming out recently just looks absolutely fantastic. It looks stunning.
Yeah, this is the closest thing that we've gotten to digital film. It looks absolutely phenomenal. You've got a combination of things there. You've got that massive dynamic range, 15 stops of dynamic range through that sensor. But on top of that, you've got 4.6K of resolution. Now, it seems to be a bit of an odd number, but those additional pixels then give you the extra resolution in the color information. So whereas traditionally on a fixed resolution camera like a 4K camera, you'd have sacrificed some color resolution. So then when you take it through a debayer process, you've actually lost information within those 4 million pixels. But as soon as you step up the resolution a little bit, you get all of that color information back. So from the 4.6K sensor, you then take that down to 4K, you've then got all of that color fidelity to then take it into Resolve, delayer, and then work with. Now, we felt that the global shutter function and feature didn't deliver that in terms of performance. It didn't deliver what we wanted from that camera. And so it would be wrong to include it as a function and feature if we felt that it didn't really deliver our goals and intentions within the 4.6K camera. So decision was made for technical reasons, for engineering reasons, to pull it away.
Do you know how long it's going to take to sort of clear that backlog, and how quickly can people that are placing new orders now expect to be able to go out and get their hands on one of these?
Yeah, at this point I haven't got any time frames. What I do know is first cameras have started rolling through. We sent out our first deliveries yesterday. So the moment we said, right, we're going to start shipping the camera, we've started shipping the camera. So customers should have received their cameras today. How many and how quickly we can get them through the factory, I don't know. But we're working at full tilt to try and get them done as quickly as we can. It's going to take a little bit of a while because there's been nearly a year's worth of back orders built up. So for any new customers, it might take a few weeks. But at the moment, I haven't got an exact time frame of how quickly we can get them through the factory.
Okay, and I think NAB is coming up in a couple of weeks. Every year you guys come out with, certainly for the last 3-4 years, there's been a new announcement, a new camera, something quite exciting that generates a lot of buzz. But then time after time, there's been these promises of shipments and timescales, and every single time it's fell back. Are you guys ever going to kind of learn, or is there any takeaways this time that you're going to take over to the next potential product launch?
I think when you look at something like NAB, last NAB I think we announced 18 new products, and of those 18 new products, 17 of them shipped on time. It's only really the 4.6K that's caused us a delay, and I think everybody can see now why there has been an issue with that. And we put our hands up and apologise, and we say, we are sorry. We never intended for that to happen. I just think we hit the limits of what technology could do, and we've gotten to a point now where we had to make a decision as to whether we ship the camera or not. But otherwise, I think everything else shipped on time. So, as a business, our goal is to get everything out the door.
Nothing quite as exciting as a new camera, though.
I think the problem is when you're pushing the boundaries of technology and also price performance, you're always going to hit that limitation at some point where you're going to go, actually, we are taking things to another level, both in terms of what the products can do. And when you look at the 4.6K, it's a good example, really, of how we've now produced actually the best digital film camera Blackmagic has ever made. And that is at a price point which for most people is affordable. And that hitting those boundaries from a technical perspective and engineering perspective is always going to be a challenge. But we set high expectations for ourselves and we challenge ourselves. And 9 times out of 10 we hit it. But unfortunately with this one we hit something that really caused us an issue. So rather than hold it any longer, we've decided to ship. But I'd like to think moving forward that again, we can ship most of our products when we say we're going to ship them.
So yeah, again, like I said, it's NAB in a couple of weeks, and I guess one of my concerns with that would be is I'm sure you guys are going to have something else. You've got 4 years of history. I'm sure there's going to be another exciting new product. But with the problems they've had with this year, which is, I'm guessing, taking up a huge amount of resources and time of the engineering team, is that going to have a knock-on effect with anything else that's in the pipeline?
It won't affect anything that's in the pipeline. We're a large organisation and we have multiple engineering departments all working on simultaneous projects, so it shouldn't really affect us in that respect. What it will have an effect on, has had an effect on, are for customers who have the big URSA. And of course, one of the upgrades to the big URSA is the 4.6K sensor. And that particular sensor issue with global shutter has affected both of those product lines. So where customers have got back orders currently for the turret upgrade for the 4.6K, or they're thinking about upgrading their 4K URSA to the 4.6, that similar issue will affect the delay on that particular product too. So whilst, no, it won't affect any other product line, it will affect product lines using that same sensor. So primarily at the moment, it would be the 4.6K URSA upgrade.
And on that, with the announcement that came out from Grant and press release, it was really focused on the URSA Mini. There wasn't really any information in there about the turret upgrade for the full-sized URSA. Do you have any idea, is that going to wait until after the backlog of the URSA Mini cameras cleared out, or is something going to happen simultaneously, or when could people expect to get their hands on that?
Yeah, so that's happening simultaneously. We're not prioritising one over the other in that respect. The 4.6K was the one that I think everybody had the most interest in, because it being a new camera. And so that was why the announcement was made in regard to the 4.6K URSA Mini. But actually, because it was the same sensor, it actually applied across both of those products. So whilst the 4.6K sensor camera has started to ship, the turret upgrade is being worked on now, so we can get that out the door as quickly as we can. Yeah.
All right. And I heard about this 4K pocket camera that you guys are developing. Are we going to see that on NAB?
I don't know where you heard that one, Ben.
Oh, it's worth a try. Can you tell us anything about what we might see at NAB, or any hint, or an Apple-style vague message?
You're going to see a big show with some very exciting new announcements.
All right. Okay. Well, great. Thank you very much for your time and give us a little bit of an update on the new cameras. Very much looking forward to seeing what does happen at NAB.